Next gen embedded Linux build system. So we now have support for Debian. This is a very big step for this project. So let's take a look. So in the past, we've been building with an Alpine base, and that's worked pretty well, but some systems need systemd, glibc, and other things for compatibility. So Debian is the next natural step to get that. So at the top, we now show a distro config, and we can set that by going into here and clicking Debian. So there's a dev image now in the Debian module as well as the Alpine module. Let's go ahead and take a look at this module. So we now have a Debian module listed as well as an Alpine module. And you'll notice the Debian main provides 68,000 packages, and we're using the same mechanism we used for Alpine, where we parse the index files on startup and create a virtual list of units as we need them. And this is working out really well because we can start in way less, or about a second, and we can process those index files very quickly. And again, we can switch between. So if we want to go back to Alpine, do that. And we can boot Alpine as before. And if we want to switch to Debian, we can do that. Again, we're just hitting the setting key, going down to default distro, and then selecting Alpine or Debian. And this is already built, but let's go ahead and run this. Notice the boot up's a little bit different because I think it uses an init ramfs. Takes a little longer to boot. And now we're into Debian. We can verify SSH works. Yes, SSH works just like it did on Alpine. And the network works and so on. This is a systemd image, so we can check the status of the network manager that's running. Okay, so let's take a quick look at this module. I'm going to tab over to the Modules tab, go down to the Debian, and hit the $ to shell into that module. And again, this looks very similar to the Alpine module, where we have ARM and x86 feeds, packages for each type. If we look at the project, or the module.star, we are specifying the Trixie release of Debian, which is the latest stable release, and we specify the architectures, the index, and the key ring that we use. So that's about it. It looks pretty simple on the surface, but it was a bit of a project to get all this going because we had to thread the distro setting through the project, and also the Debian build is a lot more complex than the Alpine build at the image stage. We also had to modify some of our source packages so that they'll build in both a Debian and Alpine base. I'm not sure if this one shows anything. No. Anyway, the libraries, dependent libraries, are named different things. Let me see if I can find an example. Okay, let's change our query to just look in the core module. So we'll do a module core. And then let's look at the CA certificates. So this is a good example of how we specify different dependencies for Alpine and Debian So in Alpine, the Python package is called just Python 3. In Debian, it's Python 3.11. So the build system now knows, based on the distribution, what Python dependencies needed to build this package. And we can do the same thing with the runtime distro runtime depths as well. We can specify those for each distro. One other thing I'll note is the build time at the image stage for Alpine on the development image is about 10 seconds. For Debian, it's 100 seconds. So that's a 10x difference. That may not seem like a lot, but when you're iterating quickly, that 10-second image build time is just really nice with Alpine to quickly iterate during development. Debian does a lot more with post-install scripts, so they have a lot of shell code running during the image phase, which causes it to take a bit longer. One of the other differences between the image phases is with Alpine, we can just use an APK install and lay the image right down. With Debian, we need to use a tool called mmdebstrap, and this tool is kind of designed to bootstrap a Debian rootfs. It's a little more complex. So again, just showing the differences, and this is all kind of leaning towards if you have a simple system with simple requirements, I would tend to lean toward Alpine as a base system. If you have a more complex system, then Debian or Ubuntu, of course, would be appropriate. Anyway, let me know what you think, and give it a try. Let me know if anything doesn't work. Thanks.